Welcome to A Toast to Truth. This is where I share the mental, financial, and emotional frustrations of being an entrepreneur. This is Season 8, Episode 1, Sabbaticals and Entrepreneurship. So today's question is, what does a sabbatical look like for an entrepreneur? Okay, so 2019 is the year of my selfish sabbatical. Let me define selfish, or how I define selfish. So, selfish to me means self-preservation. I have learned that because when I would call other people selfish, I realized they were thinking of themselves, and I took that as a bad thing. Now, looking at that word and looking at how people's behavior towards that word is, I realized that being selfish means that you are trying to put yourself first, or you're trying to put yourself in the best possible situation. Now, here's my thing with selfish. You can be selfish without causing harm to other people. And that's where a lot of people they mess up a little bit. They're selfish, but during that time of them preserving themselves, they are actually causing harm to other people. So I'm not trying to do that. However, I am going to be selfish. I am going to preserve myself for this year and moving forward. And then sabbatical. So if you click the show notes, you'll see that I'm going to link up my post where I go into more detail about my sabbatical. But essentially, a sabbatical is a rest from work or a break, often lasting from 1 month to a year. The concept of sabbatical has a source. It's described in the Bible. I believe it's Leviticus 25 for those who want to know. But essentially, every 7 years or so, a teacher, university teacher or employee gets paid time off. Now, I'm not an employee where someone's going to pay me to take a year off. I have heard of sabbaticals. I actually am Facebook friends with this lady who took a sabbatical, African American lady. She took a sabbatical, and she was in Essence, and she was in some other media. That's how I found out about her. And lo and behold, she's from Houston. She had like a high power job in the oil and gas or IT field here. And she's been on sabbatical since, and I think that's about 7-8 years now or something. So she's turned it into a lifestyle. But I don't know anyone who, quote unquote, has taken a sabbatical as they are also running their business. So I didn't really have anyone to follow. Well, no. Let me take that back. Because I know she is the CEO of, I believe it's Passion Planner, like the planner that everyone is so obsessed with now. Okay, so yes, entrepreneurs have done it. I think it's Angelia Trinidad, CEO of Passion Planner. I know she went on sabbatical for a while, and I believe January 2019 is when she is returning back to her post, but the business is still going on without her. Now, she has a business, she has employees, so of course the business can go on. Now, I am solopreneur. I'm by myself. If I'm not blogging on my blog, it's not getting blogged. So how am I supposed to take a sabbatical and I am all the positions? Well, I'm going to talk about that, but I'm going to first talk about, what am I taking a sabbatical from? I am taking a sabbatical from everyone's BS, including my own. If you read the blog post, I go into a little bit more detail. There are a few things I probably should have added, but I'm just going to keep that to myself because I'm trying not to be as straightforward, direct, and forthcoming with what I feel and what I think towards other people. We'll see how that goes. But essentially, I'm taking a sabbatical from giving myself out. I'm going to put it another way. I'm taking a sabbatical from pimping myself out to other people and then being discarded like I'm trash. That is probably the best way I can describe how I have felt the last several years of giving to other people to help them get where they wanted to be, giving all of my time, my energy, my resources, my connections, introductions. And then when I speak truth to that person about who I see them as or what I see they have done that I may not agree with, then they want to get upset. But you're taking all of this stuff from me, but you don't want to hear how you're actually wasting what you're taking from me. And so I understand that when I give, and I have to let go of what I have given to other people, and it is now in their charge to do as they see. But I'm through with that. I am. So I'm taking a sabbatical away from that. I am focusing on my blog because I was doing very well with Women Are Game Changers. I was making money. I was able to pay my bills. I was able to do things, go places. And the last couple of years, I spent more time focusing on other people, helping them, giving all of my knowledge to them without censorship. I mean, like, I did not hold anything back. If they wanted to know something, I shared it in so much detail that I made training videos on it. Okay, very, very detailed. So if they want to be successful, all they have to do is watch those. And me pouring into other people and feeling underappreciated, no, not even underappreciated, not appreciated at all, at all. So I realized that if I can do all of that for other people and I can give all this knowledge and all this help and all these resources and really kind of direct people onto what they should be doing, whether they do it or not is not my problem, because I'm not going to do the work for you. And that's where a lot of people get confused. They think that the person who they feel is successful should just hand them success so that they have a starting point that's ahead of other people. That's not how it works. It is not how it works. And we'll be talking about that with some other guests. Oh, I didn't even go into how this season was going to go. We'll do that later in this episode. So anyway, so I am going to pour into my blog for netrtraining.com. And I am going to really focus on bringing my blog back to, no, not even back to, far surpass what I ever could have done with Women Are Game Changers. I am not even going to limit myself. There is no ceiling. No ceiling. Taking it off. So for those who are new to my podcast or you've just started recently following me, I've done a name change. The name of my blog was The Truth Confidant when I started this podcast in September. No, not September. That's the blog. January 2016. So that was 3 years ago when I started this podcast. And it was under The Truth Confidant. That's where the name A Toast to the Truth come from. The Truth Confidant. And also because I have a little obsession with mimosas, and we won't go there. So I changed the name because the name no longer fit what I was doing. All the things I was doing under The Truth Confidant made sense. You know, detoxifias, journaling, mental health, all of that stuff made sense with The Truth Confidant. Well, I wanted to stop doing that because I was getting exhausted pouring into others and not really seeing the financial return on that. And so while people loved what I did, they would do all the free stuff, but they didn't want to take advantage of the paid stuff. So this is an honest, true moment, people. Like, there are some things that just do not work out. People love you. They hype you up. They fill you up with all this stuff, but they are not going to support financially, and you have to understand when to let it go. And I kept it way longer than I should have. So anyway, When I stopped doing that, I kept the name The Truth Confidant, and I was trying to keep the name because people knew the name and move towards solely doing event promotion, event coverage, event marketing, and events, all of that. And it was a clash. It was such a clash. Like, the name was just completely contradicting with what I wanted to do. So I finally bit the bullet and accepted that the name was not going to work. Even though a lot of people like the name, they may understand the name and what I'm doing, because a lot of them were following me when I was with Women Are Game Changers through the name change. And so when I did a little quick survey, I sent out some text messages to some people. It was about 50-50. Now, a branding expert gave me the title Paid Event Blogger because I explained to her I get paid more from events, for events, everything related to events than anything else. But I never really paid attention to it. I never really paid attention to that's where a lot of my money was coming from, because I was so focused on doing for other people and doing other things and creating things for them. And whether they purchased or not, it really did have an effect on me, because I kept creating, trying to sell things that people said they wanted, and completely missing the whole thing that I was getting paid for, that I did not even have to work for. I was being sought out by people, by brands, by publicists to cover events and get paid for that. I didn't have to go seek a lot of those opportunities. A lot of them came to me, or I was referred by another influencer. And I did not pay attention to that. So that's something you guys have to really take some time. If you're like frustrated and things aren't working and you're like, why is this not working? Well, take a step back. What is working that you're not paying attention to? Because something is always going to be working. You just may not be paying attention to it. You feel like your whole life is falling apart, because 2018 was like a dumpster fire for me. However, when I said I was going to focus solely on events, door after door after door, opportunity kept coming. I was not working towards them. I was not doing a whole lot of stuff. I was really not focusing on it until probably September of last year. September 2018 is when I really started to get a little bit serious. So I was lazy. I was procrastinating. I was doubting myself. I was frustrated. I was angry. I was upset. It was so much that I was dealing with in both my personal and my blog life that it just felt like I wanted to scream and cuss out everybody. Everybody. Whether they did something or not to me, I just could not stand being around people. And then I got a life coach, and if you want to, I'll link that up into the show notes here, because I did a Facebook Live with the life coach I worked with, and we talked about that. So if you want to know how I calmed myself down and really started to evaluate life and my decisions, I will link that up so that you can see who I worked with and what she did, because she has a new program out that's going to definitely help a lot of women. So anyway, let's go back to the sabbatical and, why. I'm going to stick with why for a moment. We'll get to other parts of the sabbatical, and then we'll get to what season 8 is going to be about. So I realized that I need to stop doing for other people, because it's a mask. It really is. It's a mask, because if I'm doing for other people, then I'm not focusing on my own ish. I'm not dealing with my own stuff. I'm not having to face what's going on in my life. So I made it my mission for so many years of my life to always do for other people, because if I stayed busy doing for other people, then I didn't have time to deal with Vernetta and the stuff Vernetta is going through. And that shit, it didn't work, because it would just bottle up all the frustration with that situation, and I would just blow up. So not a good look. Again, life coach. She's helped me. She saved me. But this sabbatical, and it's crazy because as I was thinking of what my 2019 word was going to be, I don't have a word for 2019. I have a theme. And everyone was already posting well, not everyone, but people were posting theirs like in November and December. And I'm just like, man, how am I going to focus on 2019? What do I want to focus? And my life coach is, her thing is manifestation. And so last year, my word was acceptance, but it wasn't in the way that people think that I wanted to use the word. It was more so for relationships. And crazy thing is, everything opposite happened with that word and relationships. And so I said, okay. And then I believe it was a Curvy Fastanisha. She posted her theme in December. And I read it and I said, you know what? I'm going to do a theme. I'm not going to focus on one word. I'm going to do a theme. And I couldn't think of what I wanted my theme to be. So I kept thinking. And then later through the group coaching program, I went through rest. I just kept saying rest because I was supposed to launch a new business this year with a business partner. And that looks like it's probably not going to happen the way or even the time, the date, and it's just not going to happen. And I've already spoken with her and, other people associated with it because I'm exhausted. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially. I was like, my whole body aches. I'm just exhausted. It's not even tired. It's one of those feelings of I can't move even if I wanted to. That type of exhaustion. So rest was something I started to feel come to me, the word, as I was going through the group coaching program last year. And so I was like, okay. And then I wrote a blog post last year and I talked about selfish, and I used the definition selfish to me means self-preservation. And so lo and behold, those two came together towards the end of 2018, selfish sabbatical. And I said, well, what is this? How is this going to work? And it took me a minute to kind of define and flesh out what that theme is going to look like for me. And so that's how you get selfish sabbatical. I am going to preserve myself, and I am going to take a break from BS. And so that theme is what I am going to focus on. And my goal is to make that theme all of 2019. Now, yeah, I'm going to, take a break from other people's BS for the rest of my life. Let's just be real honest about that. But putting the habits in place and creating the boundaries and enforcing the boundaries, that is what I am going to focus on this year. Because if I don't, I won't be able to build a successful event blog the way that I want it to be. I won't reach or surpass what I did with Women Are Game Changers if I'm not selfish with everything about me, related to me, associated with me, my time, energy, money, resources, connection. If I'm not selfish, where I'm giving to myself first, my blog is not going to make it. And it's very important to me because I do this full time. Like, I don't have a full time 9 to 5. And like, with this whole, government shutdown and everything, it's a totally different feeling because I used to be a public school teacher. And so I understand budget cuts and all of that. But to actually have to go to work and not get paid, that's a totally different thing. I could say they make like some entrepreneurs, when you're starting out, you're doing all this work and you're not getting paid yet. Not to make fun of what they're going through. I'm just trying to make light of the situation right now, just to give some people some reprieve as you're listening. But I need to make sure that I'm focusing on my blog, and that means I need to get clear. I need to get clear with the vision that I have for the blog. I need to get clear with the mission that I have for the blog. I need to get clear with the plan of execution that I have for the blog. I need to get clear on my sales plan. I need to get clear on who I'm targeting as far as people I want to work with. For years, I've worked with individuals doing trainings and consultations and creating products and different things like that. This year, I want to move and pivot towards working with brands more. And I'm working with Live Nation and Cirque du Soleil with their event here in Houston. So I'm working with Live Nation and Cirque du Soleil, Lucia show here in Houston. You'll hear the ad, but Gumroad sponsored the season of the podcast. And so 2019, yeah, it kind of, both of those were closed in December, but to come into the new year with some pretty big names that I am collaborating with, you know, that took effort, that took consciousness, that took, you know, not even determination, but I needed to pay attention or else I would have missed it, because the whole Lucia thing, the publicist who's over it, she was speaking at the Social Media Breakfast Houston event, and it was raining, it was, you know, drizzling, all kind of stuff, and I still went. And the thing is, like, I got there and it wasn't a lot of people there because of the weather in Houston and weather. But I was there, and one of my besties, Tia, you guys have met her in the Let's Take a Sip video series that I have on YouTube. She and I were like, oh, you know, let's go. We were spending that day going to different events to kind of tell people about our co-working events that we were doing for 2018 and moving into 2019. So anyway, so the lady is Angel. She's speaking, and I go up to her afterwards. Now, again, I'm an introvert, and I really don't like going up to people to talk to them, especially when there's a line, because it just freaks me out. Don't ask me why. It just freaks me out standing in line because I feel like I'm taking up somebody's time. I don't know. So anyway, I do wait in line. I speak with her. I asked her how to, you know, be part of it because she was looking for some more influencers. She gave me her card. I think it was a few days later because I got busy. We went to other events that day, and then that weekend got crazy. And then I believe I emailed like Monday or Tuesday, you know. Anyway, she, and it was probably a while before I received a response. And I totally felt that I had not gotten chosen because, you know, influencers, usually when you don't hear back something, that means you just weren't chosen for that campaign. So, you know, I was just thinking, oh man, just something else in 2018 to like say, boom, it's not working out for you. So she sends me an email and says, you know, we've accepted your proposal, you're on. And so I have 4 tickets to give away and, you know, all these things. So I'm excited. I'm like, wow, I got chosen for that. And so even throughout this season of the podcast, you'll be seeing me tweeting and Instagramming and posting on Facebook and stuff like that, more about Lucia and the event. For those who are in the Houston area, I do have a discount code for you. So you could definitely, and I'll link that in the show notes as well. So you could definitely check that out and go before it leaves town. And then with Gumroad, they were tweeting and they said they were looking for podcasts to collaborate with. Well, I've been a customer for like 5 years now. And so I, emailed them and we went back and forth, and I was, one of the podcasts accepted to run ads on. And so I keep saying and so. Anyway. Anyway, long story short, I closed out in 4 emails, people. 4 emails. And so what I want to say is you need to have a relationship. I didn't have a relationship with Angel. However, I have a relationship with the ladies, Cami and Madeline, who run Social Media Breakfast Houston. So that's a plus. And I don't have a personal relationship with Sahil, the CEO of Gumroad. However, I have personally emailed Gumroad over the years just to ask them questions or see if I could do something with them. Just, so when my name came up for the podcast, it probably was like, we've seen this name before. We've seen this name before. So that's what I want to tell you. But again, it was the focus. If I'm going to be an event blogger, what type of events do I want to cover? Do I want to do? Do I want to be part of? That was one of the questions my life coach, she kept saying, it's too broad, every time I would say something. When we were in the group coaching program, she's like, it's too broad. And so I'm like, man, I really got to narrow this down. And I realized I like unique events. Like, they don't need to be the same cookie cutter events. I did ice cream social with Chandra Webb of Dingy Eyewear here in Houston. She has her own podcast. But we did an ice cream social, which was like a pre-launch before her official launch of her eyewear. It was fun. Everybody had positive things to say. No one really wanted to leave. The ice cream shop enjoyed us. Everybody, it was a great event. So I realized that the types of events that I like doing and that I'm really good at are events with brands and entrepreneurs that's going to, create a memorable experience, but I'm going to help connect that experience with their audience or mine through blogging. And that's where I'm like, I really thrive as an emotional blogger, like really getting you to feel what you missed if you weren't there, or to relive what you experienced if you did attend that event. So yeah, that is the way I'm shaping up my sabbatical. It's not so much I'm running away, even though I feel like God has me in this wilderness right now where I'm alone at times, where I feel I'm alone. And I feel like everybody is just going so much further and faster than I am. And I'm like just sitting here. But I realized that I am being prepped for something. So I need to relish in this quiet time, in this rest period, in this season of sabbatical. So we're going to take a quick sip and then we'll be right back. So I'm very particular about what I recommend and use. As a loyal user over the past 5 years, I chose to use Gumroad as my e-commerce platform. It's great for digital creatives like me and you. I have watched it transform to be more user-friendly, which helps when we just want to upload our work and begin selling in less than 5 minutes. I've also used it for memberships, ticket sales, consultations, and digital training videos, to name a few ways to use the platform. So far, they've put $175 million in the pockets of creators around the world, only taking a 5% cut. Not bad. Would you like to join an e-commerce platform that brings in that type of money for its users? Go to gumroad.com/invites with an S to sign up today. Okay, and we are back. Now, I am still exhaling. If you listen to season 7, there's still things I have to release and let go. That was the whole point of me being in the life coaching program. I need to make sure that my personal self is together so that my professional self can execute flawlessly. Now, I wanted to talk about, like more of what's going to happen with the sabbatical and more of what's to take place in season 8. So I'm doing this from memory, people. Now, I shared before the break, before we took a sip, on what, how I'm shaping this sabbatical to be. Now, the sabbatical itself, I am putting in some rest, but it's more so rest from myself. And let me explain. I exhaust myself trying to do for other people. And now that I have told myself I am not allowed to do for other people, I'm exhausting myself trying to keep myself calm because I feel like I need to be doing something for other people. So it's it's crazy right now with how I feel, because I feel antsy. I feel like I have way too much downtime. And that in and of itself means I need to be more productive with my downtime, and I need to figure out how to use that for myself. One thing my life coach said, and I don't mind sharing her name. Her name is Danica Carruthers. Like I said, I'm going to link up that Facebook Live so you guys can listen to our conversation. But she asked the question in the group coaching program, what brings you joy? And that was our workbook. And the whole time we were in the program, I could not answer it. And here, as I am recording this episode, I am still not able to answer that question. So now I know what I'm going to do with my downtime, where I feel like, oh, I should be helping and doing for other people because I have time on my hands. Well, Vernetta, that's when you should probably go out and find what brings you joy. Because eating ice cream, as much as I love it, and chocolate and lemon heads, I don't think I should be doing that every day, all day, because I don't think the dentist is going to be too happy. So I have to find some other non-sugary confections that's going to bring me joy. So that's one of the things I'm going to do with my downtime. And I need to learn how to just sit and do nothing. I don't know how to do that. I've always been, I guess, a busybody. I'm the oldest grandchild. I'm the oldest child. Since I was in elementary school, I have taken care of other kids, not including my sister and brother, neighbors' kids, and I started babysitting in 6th grade, 9-month-old twins, and their 3-year-old brother, and their parents left their 3 kids with me. So I've always been doing for other people. And so to be in a season of rest, to experience a sabbatical, to have all of this free and downtime, it's nerve-wracking for me. It's a little scary because I feel like I'm not contributing, I'm not being productive, and yet at the same time my body is screaming, thank you so much. Now, I know a lot of you are like, what does this have to do with business? It has everything to do with business, because last year I was in the middle of teaching and I started getting dizzy, and I released my class. They were all out of the classroom and I passed out on the floor. I was in the room by myself. One of the employees in the building happened to see me and she started panicking. And I told her, I was like, if you can just get my phone and please call my sister will come and get me. Because she was screaming, do we need an ambulance? Like, she was freaking out. And I was like, no, just call my sister. I'm just going to go home. I will be back tomorrow. I missed a week of work. The doctor was like, no, you can't leave. Like, it was a panic attack. It was stress. It was so much that my body literally shut down. And so it took my sister and the lady in the office building, because we didn't work together, but we were in the same office building, to get me in the car, get my stuff, and my sister brought me home. But I'm saying all this to say that when I did that, I was also running an organization at the same time, and I did not get the support I needed while I was physically unable to take care of myself, and people were mad I was not able to take care of them. That was my wake-up call, that if I don't take care of myself, I'm not going to be able to take care of anybody ever again. And there will be no more blog, because there may not be me to be here to blog. So that's why rest and the sabbatical is so important, because I realized at that time I was so stressed. I couldn't think straight. It was so much going on. I was getting frustrated with everybody. I just felt alone and unsupported and used, because no one wanted to pour into me or even ask to take stuff off my plate. It was, well, can you do this? Do you understand that I'm literally on linoleum floor at work, calling you to tell you I am unable to do for you, while I'm waiting for my sister to come help me get off the floor, because I still could not get off the floor. My body had literally given out. So for those who feel that you have to do for, now sound like that Baby Shark video, do for others, you have to stop. If that story of me literally laying on dirty beat floor, trying to call people to tell them I am unable to do for you right now because I can't even get off this floor. I'm literally laying on a nasty floor, okay? Waiting on my sister to come get me so she could take me home, because I can't move, I can't walk, I can't do anything. If you're like, that's not going to happen to me, it may not happen to you in that way, but something could. Something could happen, and it's going to help you reevaluate, but it's also going to not be pleasant. As you learn, you need to reevaluate who you give your time to and how much of your time you give. So with that being said, the downtime and the free time I am going to use to figure out what brings me joy, because I need to do something outside of always working and doing for other people. Now, I'm excited because I have a great season for you guys. I'm excited because I love events. Like, events are, that's not even work for me, to tell you the truth. I love events. Events are not even work to me, to tell you the truth. Like to be an introvert, but to go to events is like the oxymoron of the century. I love seeing the creativity and the innovation that happens at events, but I also like to market them. I like to weave the story of why you should be at that event and how that event is going to impact your life. And even if it's a fun event like the ice cream social we did, do you know, like, I left. I after the event was over, we cleaned up. I bought my ice cream, because ice cream brings me joy. If you missed that part, ice cream brings me joy. I bought my ice cream, and I was like, I'm out. I'll talk to you guys later. It was still people there talking. Like, connections were made. The impact was there. People who said they don't even like leaving their house were glad that they came out for that particular event. And it really, really helped the company Dingy Eyewear, because now people had all of this social media presence before their official launch, and people were like, okay, let me get some. And there were people who came to the ice cream social just thinking they were coming to have fun, and they were purchasing her sunglasses. So again, me being able to share why people should have attended that event to help this entrepreneur, that was fun for me. I did not see it as work. And she and I literally planned that entire event in 1 hour in Twitter DM. We never got on the phone. We never got on email. We never got on Facebook. We did not leave that platform. In Twitter DM, in 1 hour, we planned her entire event. And so that's what I'm looking forward to this year. Doing that with some brands. Working with brands and helping them create these unique, and there's been other ice cream socials, so it's not that unique, but still it's a unique experience for the people who come. That's the main thing, is the experience. That's what I focus on as an event blogger. The experience more so than the event. And finding joy, that is something I'm excited about, because that means I get to try new things. And someone who kind of likes routine, I'm going to put myself out there a little bit this year. Now, let's talk about season 8. So season 8 is all about new biz beginnings. Now, with this season, I brought on some voices. There's going to be some surprise voices on here as well. Some of y'all have asked to hear from my mom, and she will be here with her business partner to close out season 8. And they are going to help us celebrate 50 episodes in that particular episode. The CEO of Gumroad is going to be here in the next episode. Then I have 2 amazing entrepreneurs here in Houston who are making some major moves. They're going to be here, Michelle Gomez and Shamir Norris. I've known both of them for years, have literally watched their transformation. And then I'm going to talk about esports. I know, right? Someone who is deathly afraid of technology is going to be talking about esports this season. So I have walked into 2019 saying I am on a selfish sabbatical because I feel like I need to let go of everything that I was holding on beforehand. And just like the definition, I believe, said every 7 years, I have blogged for 7 years. So maybe it's time for something new to transpire for myself. And each of these episodes are going to talk about new biz beginnings. Even if it's still within the realm of what they were doing before, is their ownership of it. And they're going to talk about it and share about it. And I'm excited for you to hear it. I'm excited for 2019 because I am going to be an optimist this year and not a realist. I am going to believe in the positive power of everything and the goodness of everything. I'm going to be like my biz bestie, Vanessa Wade from Connect the Dots PR. She's so positive and vibrant and all of that stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, okay. So I am going to take on her positive attitude and just see what unfolds in 2019. I don't have a plan. As a type A OCD planner who has to follow step by step, everything has to be planned out minute by minute. I'm not doing that this year. I am going to take each day as it comes. Now, I'm not saying there's no plan, because y'all know me. I could not do that. I have things that I want to accomplish. I have 3 intentions, which I have vowed not to share publicly, because I am a very transparent person, but I feel that when it's time to share those, I will share. But as of right now, I'm not going to share, but I have 3 intentions. And those intentions are the direction that I am going to go for 2019. And they are how the blog is going to develop. They are how I am working on myself so that I can be the best version of myself that I could possibly be in 2019. Because in 2020, I'm going to be a better version. 2021, a better version. That is the goal, is to not be the same person you are 365 days from now. Like, you want to be a better version of yourself, or at least I want to be a better version of myself. So that's what I have. But yeah, so, sabbaticals and entrepreneurship is not how you probably would define it, but I'm okay with that. I would say if you are an entrepreneur and you feel overwhelmed, or you feel stressed out, or you feel like you just can't do anything else, maybe you need to take a sabbatical. Maybe you need to leave for a week and just kind of de-stress. Maybe you need a weekend getaway. Maybe you need to include self-care. I did a whole episode on self-care. I believe that was season 5. But you may need to include self-care. I include self-care every single day. So I read the Bible and I journal every day. That was part of the self-care routine that I enhanced last year. So another part, I take detox baths. I maybe listen to like meditative music to kind of calm me down. And these are inexpensive things. Okay, you could do that. You could do self-care. You could do trips away for a weekend or a week or maybe a month if you have employees, or if your business can maintain without you being there. I have not gotten to that level with this particular blog like I did in the previous vlog, so I can't leave for a month. So I'm working towards that. Another reality that people need to be honest about. But, or you can define a sabbatical as, okay, I'm going to take every Sunday is family day. No social media, no email, no phone calls, me and family, or me and Netflix, or me and Hulu, whatever the case may be. If you feel that you are so overwhelmed and stressed and your body is starting to fight you, you need to figure out how to define the word sabbatical for you and incorporate that into some aspect of your life. Now, for me, sabbatical means I am taking a break from BS. So I'm not dealing with people. I'm not dealing with their issues. I'm not resolving their issues. I'm not going to tell them how to resolve their issues. I am not giving advice, whether it's solicited or unsolicited. I am not running to help people. If I see somebody struggling online, I'm going to pray for you while I see that and keep it moving. I am not going to comment. If you see me comment, is congratulations. Oh, I see you doing that. It's positive things that I'll be sending to people online, but I am not helping anyone but myself. Yeah, that's going to be hard. I mean, of course, friends are going to call and stuff like that, and I will do that case by case. Another thing that I am doing that kind of, you could say it contradicts a little bit of the sabbatical. I am helping Shape Community Center here in Houston with the marketing for their 50th anniversary. So I am volunteering to do that. The reason I decided to volunteer is because when I was going through the volunteer orientation, I felt God say, this is where you can spend your time. You don't know these people. These people do not know you. They're not going to ask more of you than what you are willing to give. And it will still allow you to give to people and not feel unappreciated. So I will be volunteering, and that's probably going to be the only thing that I'm volunteering with this year. I'm not going to support other organizations this year that I can foresee at this moment. I have started sharing a lot more of my faith and talks that I have with God. I'm not walking out of alignment, people. If God does not give approval for me to do something, it is not going to get done. If God tells me to say something to someone, I'm going to say it out of obedience. and I'm going to be okay with however that person reacts, because at the end of the day, alignment, obedience, that's important to me, because I am not going to be in the same place that I am in right now 6 months from now. I'm not even going to do a year. 6 months from now, I am going to be exactly where God wants me to be, because that's where He's been positioning me. And I've let fear, self-doubt, procrastination, laziness, putting other people first, not focusing on myself get in the way. And that's why my blog and myself are not where they should be. So that was a little honest talk we had to kick off season 8. But this is a new year. And if you have been struggling with your business and it just feels like nothing is going right, but you want to put up, airs or this facade because you don't want people to know like ish ain't going real, well, stop. Be real with yourself. You don't have to tell everybody. You don't have to share every single thing that happens. I'm transparent because that's where God has said my testimony is going to be helpful to other people. And I don't feel ashamed by my experiences. You're not going to embarrass me by my experiences. You're not going to shame me for my experiences. I live them. So I get to decide how I feel about each and every experience that I have. And then me sharing hopefully will help someone else. So you don't have to share, but you do need to be honest with yourself. Is your business doing as well as you want it to? Why or why not? Do you think you need a new biz beginning? I've been blogging for years, but it took me to really come to grips that I neglected my blog. And that's why it's in the shape that it's in. And I need to do all that I was doing for everyone else for myself so that my blog can get back into where it should be. And another person, Angelica Gonzalez from Crafty Thrifter, her husband also has a blog, One of Words. She made a really good point. I'm in she and her husband's blog incubator because I wanted to get back to the foundation of blogging. And sometimes when you're in the leadership position, you don't really have time to pay attention to the small foundational parts. So me being in this incubator is going to give me the time to really listen and go back to the beginning so that I can build, Vernetta Arfrini, paid event blogger, into what I want it to be. So anyway, one thing she mentioned in, the first class was sometimes people will surpass you and you may have been on top at one time and now you're not. And that's kind of paraphrasing. But essentially what she was saying and what hit home to me, for years I was known as one of the top bloggers in Houston. And the last couple of years, even though people still put me there, my name hasn't really been out there as much. And I realized it's because I put so much into everyone else that my blog was like ghost town, And then people associated me with the association. And when I left, it's like, well, where do we put you? Because I was neglecting my blog. I wasn't really putting it out there. I wasn't really marketing my blog or my podcast like I should have. I spent more time doing everything for the association. So now it was like, well, where do we put you? Do you exist? What's going on? And I just felt like a huge ego blow, because I'm like, how are you invited everywhere? You feel at the top, and now all of a sudden it's like, who are you? Do we know you? And so it's a humbling experience, but at the same time, I realized, okay, well, while people are not paying attention to me, that's a perfect time for me to get everything together so that when opportunity hits, I'm prepared and I can execute without a hitch. And so that's, kind of how I'm going to continue to work with my theme, my selfish sabbatical, is to be okay that no one's watching me, or there are people watching, but I'm not talking about those people. But be okay with not being seen like I was years ago. And that gives me time to really build. That gives me time to enjoy my downtime and my free time. Because now I don't have the stress and the pressure of producing constantly. I don't have to worry about expectations I feel other people have put on me because no one's paying attention to me right now, in that sense. So that's a good thing. At least I see it as one. So we are going to do our final toast and then we are going to close out. So the final toast for this episode, if anything, I want you to really answer this question. Is my business going the way that I want it to? And if it's not, is it time for me to have a new biz beginning? Because it is okay to start back over and to go quiet for a little while and come back stronger. That's what I'm going to do. That is what I'm doing. And if you are also in the same or similar situation where you need to do it, I wish you the best of luck. And I hope this season will help you gain some insight and get some resources and learn some things as you are starting back over with a new business beginning. This has been a Toast to Truths with me, Fernetta Arfreni. This is season 8, episode 1, Sabbaticals and Entrepreneurship. And I talked about the consequences I've encountered.